Welcome back. My name is Ezilii, and thanks for watching these tutorial series. This is my City Skylines beginner's guide or start to finish, whatever, for beginners and veterans and veteran noobs alike, including me. I went ahead, just to catch you guys up to date, I went ahead and purchased this segment. However, just to remind you, we are playing with unlimited money for the purpose of the tutorial, and we have played with all of the unlocks after, I believe, the first episode, so I could focus on very specific parts. And today, we're going to focus on building a bridge, which might bleed into building a highway very smooth. So, we're on the River Run map. The River Run map has plenty of highways. And what this episode is going to prelude to is further expansion. We need to facilitate that expansion with the bridge because we're going to connect this with this. Now, eventually this will get upgraded into highway. Right now, that is just a little old 2-lane road flying right on by, and there's no access here. This is just a bridge to cross over that bridge, and that bridge was our example for how to make a smoother bridge as opposed to what the game wants to do, these big sharp bridges in vanilla. But without further ado, first we're going to build a bridge between two sides of our city. I'm actually going to use... Actually, I'll just use this. It doesn't matter what road you use. Just pick a road that's going to give you zoning tiles. Now, eventually this is all going to be highway that's going to run through here. But first, we're going to keep it the way I've made it here, with the exception of our space is going to get a lot thinner. This space they gave us here, which I maintained, was fairly wide, while the space they gave us here is fairly narrow. It's like, what are you trying to tell us? Are you trying to tell us to give more space or to make less space? Anyway, so in the previous tutorial where I talked about making a smooth bridge, I have my elevation step at the smallest, and you click that down here at the bottom left. It's got the little, looks like a single bar graph, which would be kind of comical in its own right. At first, a common thing that I've seen among other players and something I've done is I would do something like this, which that even worked out pretty good. But sometimes when you do this, or now, you get this. Because we want to build, we're building on the edge of this, right? We're building stuff here, and we have this low-level bridge that then, you know, it gets a little wavy and wonky and can be a mess. If you take a look at bridges in your hometown, if you happen to have any, I'm sure that there are towns that don't have bridges. They start a lot further back than you think. And in this regard, I'm going to allow for some height. So that should be 3, that should be 6, that should be 9, that should be 12. I'm going to go to 9. I'm going to keep it at 9, and I'm going to actually start this bridge way back here. And I'm going to run it way over here. Maybe bend it. I'm also looking at the end of this compared to that. But I want to get it well on an established height. Because I think those heights, if they're not the same, they're really close. But that's made a nice smooth bridge, and we could still build underneath here. So you could still have your riverfront park. Now, because I'm using a street that provides zoning, when I lower this to the ground, it's going to have squares for our zoning. But I'm counting my tick. So there's 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 ticks. I'm going to just stretch it, and I'm going to make sure that it snaps to that, and then boom, done. These guys should be fairly well, if the camera would only cooperate, should be fairly well even. They look pretty good. Now, I know if you've been watching other episodes of this tutorial, I have told you to remove trees. I'm just remove trees. Just remove them. I'm kind of ignoring that right now because we would spend the whole time doing this. But if you're playing a city for complete keeps, remove your trees before you do this because it helps save your processing power. There. I did it anyway. I told myself, nah, I won't do it. And here I am doing it. So we have this ready to go. We need to connect it to this. And we're off a bit, and that's okay because I want to put in a curve. But we also need to lower it. So if we pull information from last time, we know that if we lower it in small steps over long stretches, we should end up with a nice smooth approach. But you start from the height. Now, thankfully, the game has added a lot of these guides because before, in order to get something that looks like this, you'd have to use what was referred to as the... Oh, look at this. It did a bubble. The protractor mod. Why did you do said bubble? Did I do something wrong to you? Did I harm you in any way? There. Good. There. If at first you don't succeed, try billion times. So that part is done. So now we're going to connect this. Now this is going to be the funky part because we're going to be shrinking our width across this span. Ultimately, there's probably going to be an exit here. There's going to be probably an exit here that we'll work in. And then we're probably going to have an exit, not quite all the way over to the edge, but probably here-ish, because I want to split traffic out. Because if you build on both sides, you should have a lot less of the all of my cars are using one lane phenomenon. That's oftentimes because we built it to where they're only going to use one lane because our buildings are all on one side of the road. Which, I mean, it makes sense. I'm going to do that stretch and then down. Oh, look at that. Maybe I should do it earlier. Oh, hillsides. You give everybody problems. How about that? So one length up. Done. And then just take it flat. There we go. Look at that. Trial and error. Now we're not so far off. However, we're gonna take up this width slack as we go from one to the other. If I do the freehand tool And I get to here, and then I click this. I might go this way. Okay. So we're going to start from our city side. Click. And then it should turn to be like so. And because of these grids, look at that. That made it a whole lot easier on us. See? The grids will help you line stuff up. Before you had this guideline that popped up out here, you would use grids to space things. That's old school city skylines. Now, our city is on a hill. It is not flat by any means. So some of this height difference is just the terrain. We could smooth it out, which we'll probably have another episode on smoothing terrain out and some terrain tricks. And then if we get into modded tutorials as far as using some of the tools I use on live stream to make my creations, we'll talk about some other little handy tricks that you can sneak in. But that pretty much concludes this particular episode on bridge building, making it smooth, and then completing your highway. If you are playing Unlocked or you're playing with anything else where you have access to your highway ahead of time, we only have 870 people. Technically, we shouldn't have access to this, but since I'm playing Unlocked, we can do this. And then I want to show you the end result in a second here. Everything from here to here is bridge, and it's gorgeous. And if I take this and I run this all the way across, don't mind the fact that it's all backwards. That's on purpose. No. I mean, maybe. That produced a very awesome highway bridge that's very, very level for our needs. Until next time, my name is Ezilii. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. You can catch me here on the YouTubes or over there on the Twitches. Be good to each other. And happy building. Where on earth did we go in this city? Until next time, have a good one. If this or any of the videos have been helpful for you, please like and subscribe, and feel free to share. We love to meet new friends. Be good to each other. You can find me here on YouTube or over on Twitch. All the links are below the video. Have a good one.